there's just a general feeling of dismay and disruption, right? Like, and that's natural because the season was so bad. And now Chris Johnston's got a report in The Athletic today saying that Matthews, I guess as of now, not 100% committed to returning next year. Now, he's got 2 years left on his deal, so the Leafs have a say in this clearly.
Correct.
But if Matthews ever determines, I want out, then he's getting out.
Yeah.
It would be an absolute gong show if it went public that he wants out and they didn't trade him.
Something feels very wrong inside the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, and fans are starting to notice it. A few shocking words from Auston Matthews have now turned into massive NHL rumors, emotional fan reactions, and growing fear about the future of one of hockey's biggest superstars. But what's happening behind the scenes may be even bigger than anyone expected. The Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the biggest teams in hockey. They have millions of fans, massive pressure, and one goal every single season to win the Stanley Cup. But instead of celebrating success, the team is now surrounded by fear, rumors, and questions about their biggest superstar, Auston Matthews. Over the last few weeks, NHL fans started noticing something strange. Matthews was no longer giving strong answers about his future with the Maple Leafs. During an interview, he said something that instantly shocked the hockey world. Matthews said, "You can't predict the future." Those words were enough to send Maple Leafs fans into full panic mode. Why? Because Matthews is not just another player. He is the captain of the team. He's the face of the franchise. He is one of the greatest goal scorers in the NHL today. Ever since Toronto selected him first overall in the 2016 NHL draft, fans believed he would bring a Stanley Cup back to the city. But now, many people are wondering if Matthews is slowly losing faith in the organization. This season turned into a disaster for Toronto. The Maple Leafs failed to meet expectations again. The team struggled under pressure, and once the season ended, everything started falling apart very quickly. Reports began coming out about major changes inside the organization. The front office entered chaos, management decisions were questioned, and fans started blaming everyone from coaches to executives to star players. Many NHL insiders and media reports started talking about William Nylander becoming a bigger leader inside the organization. Some fans even believe the Maple Leafs are preparing Nylander to become the future face of the franchise if Matthews ever decides to leave. As the rumors kept spreading, NHL fans started looking closer at Auston Matthews' situation in Toronto. And the more people talked about it, the more pressure started building around the Maple Leafs organization. One big reason for the panic is simple. Toronto has had superstar talent for years, but the team still has not delivered the playoff success fans expected. Every season begins with huge hope, and every season seems to end with disappointment. That frustration has slowly turned into anger across the fan base. What if Matthews no longer believes Toronto can win? That question became even louder after reports connected the Maple Leafs to possible leadership changes inside the locker room. William Nylander's name suddenly started appearing everywhere in NHL discussions. Some analysts said Nylander could become the emotional leader of the team moving forward. Others believe Toronto may already be preparing for a future where Matthews is no longer the center of the franchise. For fans, hearing those ideas felt almost impossible to believe. Matthews has been the heart of the Maple Leafs for years. He won awards, scored huge goals, and became one of the most famous players in hockey. Many fans thought he would spend his entire career in Toronto. But now, even small comments from Matthews are creating massive headlines across sports media. And then the Nashville Predators rumors made everything even crazier. Reports claim Nashville could become a team to watch if Matthews ever became available in the future. That instantly grabbed attention because Nashville has been trying to build a stronger contender, and adding a superstar like Matthews would completely change the league. Fans online immediately started debating possible trade scenarios. Some people said Toronto would never let Matthews go. Others believed the pressure, disappointment, and constant criticism could eventually push him away from the organization. At the same time, many fans defended Matthews. They argued that the Maple Leafs failed to build the right team around him. Some blamed poor roster decisions, others blamed management chaos and constant changes behind the scenes. And after another frustrating season, the pressure inside Toronto only became heavier. Still, there is one very important fact fans must remember. Auston Matthews has not asked for a trade. Right now, everything remains speculation and rumors. Matthews is still under contract, and there's been no official confirmation that he wants to leave Toronto. But in sports, fans know one thing very well. Sometimes the biggest stories begin with small signs, strange interviews, and growing tension behind the scenes. That is exactly why this story has exploded across the NHL world. Because for the first time in years, Maple Leafs fans are seriously asking themselves a question they never wanted to imagine. Could the future of Auston Matthews in Toronto actually be in danger? And if that day ever comes, the entire NHL could change forever.
Tonight, the team didn't have Auston.
They played very fast, and we weren't very fast. It was just the opposite. They had a good start. We didn't, chasing the game.
Something is seriously wrong inside the Edmonton Oilers, and it's not what you think. After their shocking playoff exit, Connor McDavid didn't explode. He didn't get angry. He didn't even react the way fans expected. Instead, insiders say the team looked completely broken. And what Elliotte Friedman just revealed about that locker room might be the most worrying sign yet. But the real truth gets even
in the intermission
worse.
when
This wasn't just
down,
another.
Someone texted me and they said, "Do you think McDavid will ask for a trade if they don't come back tonight?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." And then the whole third period, especially when the Ducks scored again to really put it away, the whole third period was like, "Do you think McDavid's going to ask for a trade if they lose this game?" There was a lot of that, and I do not believe we're at that point now. I don't. I think that's his current deal that you're showing right now. He signed a 2-year extension at $12.5 million, so they have him signed for 2 more years. I don't think he's asking for a trade right now.
This wasn't just another playoff loss. This felt different. The Edmonton Oilers were knocked out early, and fans expected the usual reaction. In the past, when this team lost, you could see anger. You could feel the frustration. Players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl would show emotion. It looked like they were ready to come back stronger. But this time, something changed. According to NHL insider Elliotte Friedman, the reaction inside the Oilers locker room was not anger. It was silence. The players didn't look furious. They didn't look shocked. They looked calm, almost like they already knew this was coming. And that is what scared people the most. Friedman explained that instead of playing like a top team, the Oilers looked average this season. That's a huge problem when you have the best player in the world on your team. Connor McDavid is supposed to lead a championship roster, but this year, the team around him just didn't match that level. One of the biggest issues was defense. The Oilers struggled to stop opponents in key moments. They gave up chances too easily, and in the playoffs, that always costs you games. Then there was goaltending. It was inconsistent. Some nights were good, but other nights just weren't enough to win at a high level. When you combine weak defense and shaky goaltending, even a superstar like McDavid can't carry the team. And deep down, the players seemed to know it. That's why the reaction looked so different. It wasn't anger because there was nothing to be surprised about. It was more like acceptance. Acceptance that the team just wasn't good enough. That doesn't mean everything is okay, because time is running out. McDavid has about 2 years left on his deal, and that changes everything for the organization. The Oilers don't have unlimited time anymore. They must act fast. They must build a team that can win now, not later. And that's where the pressure becomes very real. After the playoff exit, reports say the team will not panic and trade their superstar. Instead, they are expected to look inside and fix what's broken. This means big talks are coming. Tough conversations. The kind that can change a locker room. Management will start asking serious questions. Is the defense strong enough? Is the goaltending reliable? Are the right players around McDavid? Because if the answer is no, changes are coming. Some players may not fit anymore. Some roles may need to change. And the front office has to make smart decisions very quickly. They cannot waste another season like this. And then there's something even more important. McDavid's mindset. After this loss, he didn't show anger. He didn't call anyone out. He stayed calm. But sometimes, silence can say more than words. It can mean frustration is building quietly. Fans are starting to notice this. They're asking, how long will he stay patient? How long will he trust the process? Because every year without a championship adds more pressure. Not just on the team, but on McDavid's legacy. He is one of the greatest players in the world, but in sports, winning matters. And right now, that success is missing. That's why this moment is so important. The Oilers are standing at a turning point. They can either fix the problems and give McDavid a real chance to win, or risk losing control of the situation in the future. For now, the plan is clear. Rest the players, reset the mindset, make changes, come back stronger. But here's the big question no one can answer yet. Will those changes be enough? Because if the same problems continue, if the team still falls short, then this quiet reaction we just saw might turn into something much bigger. And next time, it might not be silence.
They announced the nominees for the Ted Lindsay Award, and your nominees are Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. You can see the numbers there for Celebrini. What a year that young man had. Almost pushed the Sharks into the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov, he is a two-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, and he is nominated once again. And then, of course, Connor McDavid, a four-time Lindsay Award winner.
Something inside the NHL just flipped overnight, and fans did not see it coming. A list was released, but one name on it changed everything. Two of the biggest stars in hockey were expected. The third name shocked players across the league. This was not a media vote. This came from the players themselves, and what they decided is now raising serious attention across the sport. The announcement came from the Ted Lindsay Award, one of the most respected honors in hockey. This award is not chosen by reporters or analysts. It is voted by NHL players. These are the same players who compete on the ice every game. Their vote reflects direct experience against opponents during the season. The finalists were officially confirmed as Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, and Macklin Celebrini. This list was reported by Reuters as a star-studded trio. The first two names followed expected patterns based on performance. The third name changed the discussion immediately. Connor McDavid's selection came after another strong season. He remained one of the top point producers in the league. His role in the Edmonton Oilers offense continued to be central. He led plays, controlled puck movement, and contributed heavily to scoring chances. McDavid has already won this award multiple times in past seasons. His inclusion matched his consistent performance record. Nikita Kucherov also secured his place based on measurable output. He ranked among the top scorers during the season. His performance included goals and assists across multiple game situations. He contributed strongly on the power play and during even strength play. Kucherov's presence on the list reflected his steady offensive production. The focus quickly shifted to the third finalist. Macklin Celebrini's inclusion introduced a different type of player into the same category. He is at an early stage in his NHL career. Despite that, his performance this season placed him in direct comparison with experienced players. His ice time, scoring contribution, and consistency across games supported his position among finalists. The reaction to this finalist list focused on how the voting reflects direct competition. Players face each other across a full season. They track speed, control, and decision-making in real time. This makes the Ted Lindsay Award different from awards decided by media members. The selection shows which players stand out during actual gameplay situations, and that distinction remains central after the announcement. Connor McDavid's performance continued to follow a consistent pattern. He remained among league leaders in assists and total points. His ability to control puck movement and create scoring opportunities stayed constant across games. His ice time remained high, and he played a central role in offensive sequences for the Edmonton Oilers. These measurable factors supported his position among finalists without deviation. Nikita Kucherov's season also aligned with statistical output. He maintained a high scoring rate and contributed across multiple game situations. His role in Tampa Bay's offense remained stable. He produced both goals and assists while maintaining efficiency during power play opportunities. His inclusion reflected sustained production across the regular season, and his numbers remain among the top in the league. Macklin Celebrini's placement introduced a different set of data points. His performance came during the early stage of his NHL career. Despite limited experience compared to the other finalists, his contributions remained consistent across games. He recorded scoring plays and maintained regular ice time against experienced opponents. This placed him in direct comparison with players who have longer careers and larger statistical records. The difference between experience levels became more visible after the announcement. McDavid and Kucherov have multiple full seasons of high-level performance. Celebrini's inclusion reflects performance within a shorter time frame. This contrast created a measurable gap in total games played, career points, and overall experience, but the voting process placed all three names in the same category. The voting method used by players places emphasis on direct impact during games. This includes puck control, offensive pressure, and the ability to influence play outcomes. Players base their decisions on real matchups rather than external analysis. This approach explains why performance during specific games can carry weight in the final selection. Reuters reporting confirmed that the finalists were selected through standard NHL Players Association voting. The report described the group as a star-studded trio, highlighting both established players and emerging talent. No irregularities or changes in voting criteria were reported. The process remained consistent with previous seasons. The timeline for the final result has not yet been released. The winner will be announced following the completion of the voting process. Until that point, the finalist list continues to draw attention due to the contrast in player experience and performance levels, and that focus has not slowed down.
Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like it was played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly, and I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers.
Silence can be louder than anything, and William Nylander just proved it in a way no one expected. After a season full of pressure and criticism, he faced the media, and instead of explaining, he gave one cold sentence that instantly spread across the NHL. No details, no emotion, just silence. And now, that silence is raising questions no one can answer. Yet, the moment happened quickly, but it changed the entire conversation around the Toronto Maple Leafs. Reporters asked William Nylander a direct question about the season. It was a normal question. Players are asked this all the time, especially after a difficult stretch. Most players respond with simple answers. They talk about effort, mistakes, or what needs to improve. Nylander did not do that. He paused, stayed calm, and gave a short answer. He said, "Something I'm going to keep to myself." That was the full response. He did not add anything else. He did not explain what he meant. He did not go into details about the team or the season. The interview moved on, but the moment did not. This response quickly became a major talking point across hockey media. According to Sportsnet, Nylander chose not to explain where the season went wrong. The report confirmed that he declined to share his thoughts publicly when asked directly. That choice stood out immediately. Players usually give structured answers in these situations. They often say the team needs to be better or that small mistakes made a big difference. These answers are common. They are expected. Nylander's response did not follow that pattern. It was short, it was controlled, and it gave nothing away. Another report from Toronto Sun also highlighted this moment. The article explained that Nylander clearly has opinions about the season, but decided not to share them. The focus was not on what he said, but on what he chose not to say. That made the moment different. The Maple Leafs have been under heavy pressure. Expectations were high throughout the season. Media coverage has been constant. Players have faced repeated questions about performance, effort, and results. Nylander has been part of that environment. His response came during that pressure. It did not include frustration or anger. His tone stayed neutral, his words stayed limited. But the message was still clear. He was not going to explain his thoughts. That decision created a strong reaction. The reaction to that moment grew quickly, and the focus shifted from the team's performance to Nylander's response itself. Media coverage continued to highlight the same quote. The sentence, "Something I'm going to keep to myself," was repeated across broadcasts and articles. It became the main reference point in discussions about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This level of attention did not come from length or detail. It came from what was missing. According to Sportsnet, Nylander has often handled media in a controlled and private way. He does not regularly share deep internal thoughts in interviews. That pattern helps explain the response, but it does not fully remove the impact of the moment because the situation was different. The question was about a full season. It came during a period when the team was under strong public evaluation. In these moments, players are expected to give insight, even if it is limited. Nylander chose not to provide that insight. That choice became the story. Coverage from Toronto Sun emphasized that Nylander had thoughts on the season but decided not to reveal them. The article did not include any further explanation from him. The original quote remained the only direct comment. No follow-up changed that. Nylander did not expand on his answer in later interviews. He did not clarify what he meant. The single sentence remained unchanged. That consistency kept the focus on the original moment. The absence of detail continued to drive attention. In most interviews, players respond with repeated phrases. They talk about improving